Of the games though. No pants, just a party for Brazil, a thumping end to their most successful games with a volleyball gold today to match last night in the football. For Britain though, Joe Joyce's silver brought the curtain down in the marvellous city, a marvellous 67 medals. Team GB's mission more than accomplished. Natalie Perks, BBC News.
Joe fucking Joyce.
Well, there were medals for Team GB in 19 sports across the 16 days of competition in Rio, after a build-up dominated by concerns about Brazil's capacity to stage the Games and doping allegations in Russian athletics. Our sports editor Dan Rowan has this assessment of Britain's achievements and of the Games overall.
Olympic gold for Great Britain by an absolute street. A wonderful world record. The time, oh my goodness me, 57.13. Setting a new standard for British sport. Andy Murray is a double Olympic gold medalist. It's gold. Rio, their best performance at the Games for more than a century. And the woman responsible for delivering medal success today told me just how much it meant.
We are now one of the superpowers of Olympic sport, and here we are, second in the medal table, above China, with more gold medals and I think more silver medals as well. Is an amazing place to be, and it shows that we are a force to be reckoned with in world sport.
The breadth and depth of Britain's medal success is staggering, from 58-year-old Nick Skelton in his 7th Games through to 16-year-old gymnast Amy Tinkler. Golds won across 15 sports. Some enjoying success for the first time, others affirming their status as great Olympians, and Team GB's flag bearer at tonight's closing ceremony says it's a moment to be proud of.
They've shown how professional and disciplined and dedicated we all are, the work ethic that goes in, the passion that we show, and to stand there and represent those people is just a really special moment. We've literally smashed records, surpassed everybody's expectations.
Beyond Britain, Olympic legends graced their final games on the track and in the pool. New stars emerged. Performances reached new heights. There was sportsmanship. And success for the hosts.
When it came to the big sporting moments, Rio 2016 certainly delivered. For many, it'll go down as a classic Olympics. But as well as captivating, the first Games to be held here in South America will also be remembered as one of the most controversial.
Empty seats were a regular sight at various venues. The diving pool turned a mysterious shade of green. Senior International Olympic Committee official Pat Hickey was arrested over the alleged illegal sale of tickets. A night out celebrating turned sour for a group of US swimmers who ended up in dispute with the Rio police, and there were security concerns. Those in charge, though, are defiant.
You know, these games have not been organized in a bubble. These games have been organized in a city where there are social problems, where there are social divides, where real life continued.
Sport's biggest ever doping scandal cast a shadow over the build-up. At the last moment, Russia was allowed to compete despite a damning report into state-sponsored cheating. But bad blood between athletes was the result.
I just find it really difficult to have 15,000 people booing someone.
Swimmer Yulia Efimova, the target of anger from her rivals after a ban for a previous doping offence was overturned as tensions rose.
My dad always teach me like competition is like holiday, like, you know, because it's always like positive, like it's like you come in, you compete, so really nice. But this one, it was like really awful. It's no more like, it's not about like positive. It's more about like it was war.
At times the games may have felt a little chaotic, but they were always iconic. The backdrop as spellbinding as some of the sport savoured here. And for Team GB, it was simply the best.
Dan, it was a great position for Team GB to finish in, even better than in London. How secure would you say our position in elite sport now is?
Well, there's no doubt, Michelle, it's going to get even tougher, I think, in 4 years' time. At the Tokyo Games, the host, Japan, will be very determined to be strong. China, of course, will want to bounce back, having been beaten by Britain for the first time since they were involved in the Olympics in 1984. Russia, of course, will probably be back to full strength. So it'll be very difficult for Team GB to do any better than this. But of course, we said that, didn't we, 4 years ago after London 2012, and look what happened. The truth is that Britain has found a very effective strategy when it comes to pursuing medal success. And as long as the hundreds of millions of pounds worth of lottery funding continues, I think Team GB will be confident that this success can carry on into the future. Inevitably, there'll be questions about what exactly this phenomenal success here achieves, because after 2012, there wasn't any discernible upsurge in participation. That has proved a stubborn aim. The fact is that issues with school sport, with facilities and lifestyle changes all mean that inspiration and medals simply aren't enough. Having said all that, many will argue that those medals are worth every single penny of the £4 million that on average each of them costs. And it's hard not to be optimistic when you see that 9 million people, for example, watched that women's hockey final on Friday evening. We've said it before, we'll say it again. 20 years ago, 36th in the table. Tonight, second. How times change.
Dan, thank you. Dan Rowan, our sports editor, live from Rio. Now the day's other news: in a suicide bombing which killed at least 50 people at a wedding party in Turkey was carried out by a child aged between 12 and 14. That's according to the Turkish president, who says so-called Islamic State was responsible for the attack, which happened in Gaziantep in the southeast. Our Turkey correspondent Mark Lowen reports.
It was meant to be a moment of celebration. A wedding party in Gaziantep ripped apart by a massive bomb. The guests, mainly Kurds, were outside when it hit. Dozens were killed, many more were injured. A suicide vest was reportedly found at the scene. The government says the Islamic State group was the likely culprit. Witnesses spoke of the horror.
Our friends and neighbours were there. We're sad and in pain. The attack was an atrocity. We want to end these massacres.
A now familiar scene as the injured recover from yet another attack in Turkey. The country has been hit by a wave of bombings over the past year by IS and Kurdish militants.
I was standing, then something exploded and I fell down. Then I passed out. After a while I woke up and I looked for my parents.